Forget Egypt and Babylonia for a moment. Let's talk about the forgotten superpower of the ancient world. Deep in the heart of modern-day Turkey, a civilization arose that mastered iron, built super chariots, and went toe-to-toe with the mighty pharaohs. They were the Hittites, the stormlords of Anatolia, and their story is one of power, innovation, and mystery. Around 1600 BCE, while Egypt was building its new kingdom, the Hittites were quietly forging an empire in the rugged highlands. For centuries, they were one of the three great powers of the late Bronze Age, yet today, they're often just a footnote in history books. But these were no minor players. They were pioneers who changed the course of warfare, law, and diplomacy forever. So, what was their secret weapon? Literally, it was iron. The Hittites were among the very first civilizations to figure out how to smelt and work iron on a large scale. While their rivals were still fighting with softer bronze, the Hittites were crafting weapons that were far superior. Imagine a bronze sword shattering against a Hittite iron blade. Their iron spearheads didn't bend on impact, and their armor could withstand blows that would have crushed their enemies. This technological leap was so significant that it earned their kings a fearsome title, the Storm Lords, rulers who wielded the power of thunder and metal. This wasn't just a military advantage, it was a revolution. Iron was the advanced technology of its day, and the Hittites were its first masters. This mastery of metal was paired with another game-changing innovation, the three-man war chariot. Egyptian and Babylonian chariots were fast but light, typically carrying a driver and an archer. The Hittites redesigned their chariots to be heavier and built for a crew of three: a driver, a spearman, and a shield bearer. This made each chariot a mobile fighting platform. They acted like ancient tanks, crashing into enemy lines with devastating force. The extra man provided more stability, more protection, and more offensive power. This combination of iron weapons and heavy chariots made the Hittite army the most feared fighting force of its time. When a Hittite chariot charged thundered across the battlefield, it was like a storm breaking, and that storm was out to hit the biggest empire of them all, Egypt. In the year 1274 BCE, the ambitions of these two superpowers finally collided at a city called Kadesh, in modern-day Syria. On one side was the Hittite king, Muwatalli II, leading an enormous coalition army. On the other was the legendary pharaoh, Ramses II, arguably the most powerful ruler in Egyptian history. The Battle of Kadesh was involving thousands and estimated 5,000 to 6,000. It was the largest chariot battle ever. The battle was a masterclass in tactics. The Hittites tricked Ramses into thinking their main force was miles away. The pharaoh, overconfident, charged ahead with a fraction of his army, right from being trapped. Thousands of Hittite chariots crashed into the Egyptians. Ramses himself was captured. Yep. According to his own account, he had to single-handedly fight his way out, praying to the god. While Egyptian propaganda later battled for victory, it was a bloody stalemate. The Egyptians suffered immense loss and critically disconnected location. Battle proved something else. The Storm Lords had met the Pharaoh on the field of battle and held their ground. After years of war conflict, both empires realized that constant war was draining their resources. So they did something truly unprecedented. Around 1259 BC, the Hittites and Egyptians negotiated finally first note that this wasn't just a ceasefire. It was a complex diplomatic agreement. It included a non-aggression pact, a mutual defense alliance promising to help each other, backed by a third party. Seal the deal, a Hittite thing. Very thorough about it. This treaty was so important that copies were described on silver coins. On plate top of dirt, covered no foundation, etc. That's like the Hittites were more than just warriors against time. They built sophisticated multiple cities. Their capital city, Tusa, was a fortress of epic proportions, protected by massive double walls stretching for miles. The gates are guarded by colossal stone carvings of lions, sphinx, and gods, designed to soothe all who approach. Inside the city, archaeologists have found a massive royal archive, thousands of late tablets. These records were written in multiple books, including their own Hittite, the oldest attested, as well as a Canadian, the international language on the sea at the time. Their legal system was also remarkably advanced. Unlike the Iron Umbrella, Babylon, Hittite laws focused more. But at the heart of their culture was a pantheon of gods, often called the thousand god pantheon, as they adopted deity to many peoples they conquered. But their chief deity was the powerful storm god, Tarhan. He was depicted wielding a thunderbolt and an axe, symbolizing his full the Hittite kings saw themselves as true representatives of ruling. This belief might be perfectly our heart and then around 12 the entire great empire crossed the Mediterranean and the Hittites were one of the biggest guys. Their mighty capital, Hattusa, was burned to the ground and abandoned. The empire shattered. The exact cause is still debated by historians, but it was likely a purposeful death. Widespread famine caused by climate change. Internal rebellions tore the empire apart from within. And waves of mysterious invaders, known only as the Sea Peoples, swept through the region, destroying cities and traders. The Great Maritime Private for thousands of years, some so until the 19th century. Some so thousands. But they were a civilization that funded they're fixing iron. Chariot warfare tactics, right? They were people who rose from the mountains to build an empire, challenged the gods, and then disappeared into the mist. They are a powerful reminder that even the mightiest empires can fall, and that history is full of dark giants. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey back in time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to join us on our next one. See you next time.